Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So this needs very little introduction because I've done an entire video that was posted just before this one. So if you want to check out more details on this, go check out that video. I'll just link it up here somewhere, and it'll be in the description as well, I guess. So yeah, Jullian dropped by and gave this one to me to work on. He wants to set it, and I've just got to basically scrub it up, and in this video we're going to start that process. So like I said in the intro video, we're going straight for this higher grit diamond, sintered diamond burr, and we're just going to start working on getting rid of all of this, and by the end of the video we should see what's really underneath all of this. So hopefully smooth sailings, but we don't know until we get into it. So let's dive in and start working on getting rid of some of these inclusions. Okay, so what I've just done is I've just spent 5 minutes with the high grit burr, and I'm just testing each of these areas because we're gathering a lot of valuable information by doing that. So now I've got a feel for the hardness of the opal, and this one is actually pretty damn hard. It's some of the harder kind of Coober Pedy material, which is good. It's an indication that it's a really high quality piece. And I've also got a lot of info on the inclusions that we've got in this piece. So I'm seeing 4 main characteristics within it. So we've got this, which I don't actually know what it is, but I've always termed it as river mud. So it can actually stink quite a bit when you get in there and start cutting it up, and it'll spread that black mess all around the place. It reminds me a lot of river mud growing up as a kid. So there's that one. That's actually really easy to get rid of. They can sometimes go really deep, so that is always concerning, but they're easy to deal with. We've got your classic milky kind of opal, which is just a little bit of common opal mixed in there, which you can clearly get rid of. It's basically what we call a skin or a crust a lot of the time when it's on a shell. That'll get rid of pretty quickly, and that I'm even happy to leave for the black nova to get rid of. We don't want to go too far in because these scratch marks, even with this high grit sintered diamond, it's still pretty coarse. You can see it here as it's drying. So it's quite aggressive work. And it really doesn't need that much aggression. The other two are 2 different types of sand. So we've got this pink sand. This stuff is typically fairly soft, and the higher grit burr can get through it. You can see when I hit it sometimes that it just sprays out and gets chewed through real quick. But we've also got some really hard sand. So over here, this is almost like Minterby style sand material. And that actually takes quite a bit of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually drop back and go to a lower grit burr. So I've got the 3 that I'm going to use here. So this is the one that we were just using. But we're going to go down to the blue to at least get rid of the majority of this hard sand and some of this other softer sand like in this big corner over here. I'm not seeing a lot of problems with the opal so far, so it's really going to be a straightforward matter of getting rid of the inclusions by the looks of things. None of the cracks have scared me yet. So we're going to use the blue. The blue is about 120 grit. So really aggressive. We're not going to be touching things like this cloudy face. That will be way later. And then we're going to switch over to the red. So that doubles the grit. It's about 240 grit. And with the red, we're going to start looking at a lot of this softer sand, make sure it's all gone. We're going to start attacking these little river mud inclusions here and there, and hopefully get rid of all of that. And then we're just going to finish it off by going back to the high grit, about 400, and just get it ready for the novas. So this will be used also to remove all of the edges that we can see here, some of the sharp edges. I did play with it a little bit because I wanted to see how chippy the opal would be, but it really didn't chip much at all from my testing. So it's a really good material. It's very good material. So it's just this inclusion work that we've got to get through. And for that, like I said, we're going to drop back in grit and we're going to go for it. So let's see how this goes. Alright, interesting camera angle setup here. So we've got a little lamp. It's nothing special, it's just a desk lamp, study lamp kind of thing. All you need is a bright light. And what I'm doing is using some X-ray vision skills here. So we've still got this really deep sand spot here. And we've still got that triangle V-shaped inclusion there, which is also sand. It's quite deep, it's really deep. It's got spots of that black river mud style inclusion. And it's got some fairly soft sand, so it's going to have to come out or it'll destabilize the stone. But we've also got other issues. Wherever there are those sandy inclusions, you can see there are these long cracks. So if I use something a bit pointier than my finger, you can see here there's a pretty severe crack in there, across here. Now some of these are just surface lines, such as these ones here. That is actually just a hair. But here, those ginger whiskers is what Jullian's called them. He says that's its common term, because I'm talking to him throughout this process. But I always called them red worms, and they're these tiny little, they almost look like cracks, but they're filled in with an iron colour red. They're always present when you get these little river mud spots in this kind of material, in Coober Pedy material. The rest of them have worked out pretty well. You can see there's a few little specks here of ones that I've worked on, but they can come out, they're not that deep. The main issues are this sand here, and then a few of these cracks. If I flip it over, you can see them really bad on this side. I'm hoping they're fairly superficial, but there are a lot of them around here, so it's not great. And you can see here there's some spots where it looks like it's had a bit of a rough life. A lot of these will disappear, they're all just superficial kind of red lines. But things like this crack, when you turn it on that angle and you can start seeing that shadow go into the piece, that's never great signs. That's proper issues there. So we're gonna have to play around with it. I mean, there's no way a nice stone like this you would use a stabilizer and start stabilizing it. It seems really strong. The cracks mainly seem to be on this side, so I could probably get rid of them by going deep enough, but I can't be certain how deep they go. And things like this inclusion here, I mean, it shoots off on an angle, but it seems to go in quite deep. Luckily enough, it's in a really thick section of opal here. Really thick section of opal, but it's still very deep. Things like this over here I can get rid of by just taking away more, maybe even taking off that corner. But this V shape in here, this one's going to be tough. I mean, to get that out, I'm going to have to work real carefully and just see if it all holds together, because there's a lot of cracks around this bit of sand. But all we can do is keep going ahead and trying. At least the majority of the stone is going to clean up really nice. I've just got a lot of those superficial surface lines that I need to get rid of, and a little bit of fogginess still. But that should go, and then the Nova tip should get a fairly nice polish. So Jullian's not worried about a little bit of sand being left in place. So if something doesn't come out, I'll just have to keep it there and polish around it and over it and hope for the best. We've still also got to tidy up the edges, but we're saving that. Over here you can see that it's quite rough. We're saving that for the higher grit sintered diamond. So let's keep going. Well, have a look at this. Now, there are some areas where I haven't gone all the way down to the colour yet. I've left it because we're just at the sintered diamonds and we've got the novas to get through the last of the cloudiness. And I'm keeping this one as wet as possible so that we can disappear those scratch lines for now, but have a look at the colour. It's an absolutely amazing piece. Now, it's not going to be a super gem because there's still a few issues. I couldn't get rid of that sand without... Well, it basically goes right through, so without cutting like a little V shape in there. Also, there's a little bit over here, and this one here is very deceptive. It looks small now, but it does shoot off at an angle over to here somewhere where my fingertip is. Well, where my fingernail ends. So it's got this diagonal shot across, which is really sad. And there's a couple really deep lines, which I haven't been able to get out. Over here, I thought about getting rid of these, but I think it's a little bit unstable for that because there seems to be a crack that runs all the way through down to about here. So it doesn't go all the way into the stone. It's only on the outside, but I didn't want to cut all of that without Jullian seeing it in person. And yeah, I've left a little bit of discoloration here, you can see. That'll go with the black novas, which will be in the next video. But what is amazing with this stone is if you have a look here, there's actually 3 different color bars and they've got this incredibly straight line. If I was trying to make a doublet, I couldn't make a line this flat and straight. So there's one color bar over here, which is predominantly green, and then there's the other one over here, which is much more multicolor and a lot of red. And then there's this third one that I didn't see when I started, just on this little piece here. So unfortunately it's got a bit of a potch divider between the 2 color bars, but there's this little blue bar on top of the green. So 3 little color bars, or 2 big ones and then a third one, and you can see where it goes all the way along the stone. It's just absolutely dead straight. All the way along you see that transition from green to red basically. So yeah, an amazing stone. It's still currently weighing 36 carats at this point. There's not going to be a lot more coming off it now. We're going to go over to the novas, like I said. And yeah, look, it's got gold coming through. Red and gold. It's got purple in the guts here. It's everything. It's got everything. The entire spectrum of opal in this one. Oh, and people like to know how long these are starting to take. This one, I can tell you, is not a quick and easy job. This has already taken me a few hours to get it to this point. But at least most of the sand is gone. There's a little bit of fog left to get rid of, a little bit of discoloration to see if we can get rid of. Unfortunately, these lines here are going to have to stay. That sand is going to stay. So is that one there. I reckon most of that will go with the Black Nova. I'm going to drill it in there a little bit. And yeah, this one here, unfortunately, will have to stay unless we go and do a slice and slice it out. But in that case, I'd probably just take a line and slice right through here. Get one stone over here, get this massive stone over here. You'll be able to get rid of the sand in there, and you'll be able to get rid of the sand in here. But it's not my stone, and I'm not performing that kind of extreme surgery on it yet. We'll polish it up and wait and see how it looks, and then Jullian can be the decider of something like that. That's just what I would probably do if it was my stone. But he really does want one massive big chunk. See there that it was drying out a little bit. So in terms of the carving, you would have noticed, especially when I was at that yellow sintered, I kept touching the edges like this. Well, this one's got the Dremel in it, but I kept touching it like this. That was me just nipping off all the sharp edges. The Novas hate the sharp edges. In fact, I've accidentally hit a sharp edge with my Nova, and even though I've worked it out pretty much fully, there is a small line here all the way around this grey Nova where I accidentally hit a sharp edge, and that's how you learn. So, avoiding all sharp edges, I just buzz those off with the yellow sintered diamond. It causes the least amount of chipping. And yeah, everything is nice and smooth. Everything, I think, in here it might be hard to get to, and here it'll be definitely hard to get to. But most of the areas I can reach quite easily with the smaller Nova tips. I'm glad I've got the smalls, because the larges wouldn't be able to handle this, I don't think. This is another case where I have to use the small Novas. And yeah, that will be the next video. We'll go through the Novas, we'll go through the polish. It should be a lot quicker than the sintered diamond, because I had a lot of inclusions there to get rid of. There were some areas that just didn't want to cooperate. But with the Novas, I'm just hitting every surface. You would have seen that I went over and hit every surface with the yellow sintered as well. That's just to get rid of any of the really, really deep scratches, or I'll be on the Black Nova forever. And as we can see, this is my old large Black Nova, and it's already smaller than the smalls. It's quite tiny. They will wear out, and the black has a lot of work to do in all of these pieces, and this is no exception. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Jullian's already seen a couple pictures of this. He'll see this video. I'm sure he'll be impressed because it is coming along quite nicely, minus the couple bits that I haven't performed the surgery on. It's a beautiful stone, and we're not even all the way to the colour yet. See, right there you can see I've left a little bit of fog. Always leave a little bit of fog with the sintered. Don't worry about it too much, the Black Nova will get to it. So, Black Nova, Brown Nova will get rid of that last thin layer of fog. And then we're nothing but colour bar. And as you can see, this has incredible colour. So I'm looking forward to that. I will take a little bit of a break though, because this is a hell of a lot of work, and yeah, it's definitely worth it because it is coming across beautifully. I can't even decide which colour bar I like the most. I guess you have to go with the red, but it does have this in it, so this one's a little less flawed. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. But I'll leave it there, and I will see you in the next video, which will be coming right up.